On November 27, 1095, Pope Urban II made one of the most impacting and spectacular speeches in the history of the world. By December, thousands of Europeans embarked on the conquest of the Holy Land. These movements are known as the Crusades.
The Crusades had many effects on Europe. First of all, the Catholic Church became more powerful, while the rest of Europe found a new fervor for Christianity. The Church gained an abundance of wealth from the land crusaders who left for Jerusalem. The European monarchs also gained more land and power, when many of the feudal nobility came back on their shields. Feudalism declined and the modern world began to take shape. In addition, the Crusades also united Europe against a common enemy, so the fighting between various countries halted.
Urban was born in 1042. He belonged to the noble family of the Seigneur of Châtillon. His birth name was Otho de Lagery. Otho was educated by the Catholic Church. When he was 20, Otho gained the vocation of Archdeacon of Reims. Archdeacons were the assistants of bishops during the Middle Ages.
His mentor, Bruno of Cologne, inspired Otho to become a monk of the city Cluny. Otho was known as a major reformer of the Catholic Church and soon gained popularity. He is best known for the Gregorian reform that asserted that the papal office had total authority over the beliefs of Christianity. In 1079, Otho went to Rome, where he became a cardinal and bishop. While he was in Rome, the Pope at the time, Gregory VII, was in a dispute with the Holy Roman Emperor. Gregory died in 1085 and Pope Victor took office.
2 years later, Victor also died and Otho became his successor. For the next 11 years, Otho would now be known as his papal name, Pope Urban II. Urban had one major rival in the church. Wilbert, with the mandate of the Holy Roman Emperor, tried to take the papacy by military means. Urban was driven out of Rome, but soon returned and took back the power of the office with the support of his Frankish countrymen. Urban was 55 years old when the Byzantine Emperor, Alexius I, begged Urban for assistance. The once mighty Byzantine Empire was crumbling to the Seljuk Turks. They had lost the Holy Land and now it belonged to the radical Muslims. Urban saw this as an opportunity for the papacy to take back control of Europe and reunify the continent against a common enemy.
Recently, the Vikings had been converted to Christianity. They stopped raiding churches and villages in Britain and France because of this. There were still many warmongering soldiers in Europe with no constructive place to use their violent energy. Independent robbers and raiders terrorized the continent's countryside. In his speech at the Council of Clermont, Urban mentioned these problems.
You have seen for a long time the great disorder in the world caused by these crimes. It is so bad in some of your provinces, I am told, and you are so weak in the administration of justice, that one can hardly go along the road by day or night without being attacked by robbers and bandits.
He wanted to channel this violent energy in a productive manner. Urban decided to give extra incentives so knights would decide to go on the crusade. He gave out indulgences to the men who took part in this holy conquest and fought against the Turks.
All who die by the way, whether by land or by sea, or in battle against the pagans, shall have immediate remission of sins. This I grant them through the power of God with which I am invested. Oh, what a disgrace if such a despised and base race, which worships demons, should conquer a people which has the faith of omnipotent God and is made glorious with the name of Christ. With what reproaches will the Lord overwhelm us if you do not aid those who, with us, profess the Christian religion? Let those who have been accustomed unjustly to wage private warfare against the faithful now go against the infidels and end with victory this war which should have been begun long ago.
Urban also got people to go because Europe was such a hopeless continent, while the Holy Land was very promising to prospectors.
Here, crowded in by sea and mountain, you inhabit a country that hardly produces enough food to support you. There, on the contrary, lay the promised land of Israel, flowing with milk and honey.
The Pope also told about the injustices of the Turks. Most likely, he over-embellished.
The Turks, they circumcised the Christians, and the blood of the circumcision they either spread upon the altars or pour into the bases of the baptismal font. When they wish to torture people by a base death, they perforate their navels, and dragging forth the extremity of the intestines, bind it to a stake. Then with flogging, they lead the victim around until he falls prostrate upon the ground. Others they bind to a post and pierce with arrows. Others they compel to extend their necks, and then, attacking them with naked blunt swords, attempt to cut through the neck with a single blow.
Urban attempted to recruit every European, no matter what rank or class.
On this account I, or rather the Lord, beseech you as Christ's heralds to publish this everywhere and to persuade all people of whatever rank, foot soldiers and knights, poor and rich, to carry aid promptly to those Christians and to destroy that vile race from the lands of our friends. I say this to those who are present. It is meant also for those who are absent. Moreover, Christ commands it.
When Pope Urban said this, all who were present were moved to cry out,
"It is the will of God! It is the will of God!"
Soon after these speeches were made, thousands of Europeans, knights, peasants, and noblemen alike, made the journey to the Holy Land. During the First Crusade, the Jews and Muslims fought together against the Christians. Eventually, the Crusaders retook the holy city of Jerusalem. Small Crusader city-states were created throughout the Middle East. Unfortunately, Pope Urban died on July 29, 1099, just before the news had gotten back to him of the conquering of Jerusalem.
In all, there were 9 crusades launched for the Holy Land, the second happening after Muslims tried to retake the city of Edessa and Jerusalem. Pope Urban was beatified in 1881, almost 800 years after he died. His feast day is now July 29th.
Pope Urban II was a brilliant man who had the ambition to unite a whole continent under Christianity against a common enemy. The fighting between European nations ceased for a long duration, and Europe gained the most stability it had had since the Roman Empire. The Church also became the undisputed dominant figure in Europe, and powerful monarchies started to develop. Ancient trade routes that go back to the old Roman days were also opened, and commerce in Europe exploded. On the negative side, 2 to 6 million Christian crusaders were killed in a 200-year span. Also, Muslim-Christian relations soured, and the hate between the two groups is still evident today in places like Bosnia, Chechnya, and Sudan. Today, many Muslims think that 20th century European imperialism is a modern crusade.